Picture yourself standing in your driveway, quietly staring at a shiny car that symbolizes freedom, yet secretly drains wealth. You believe this machine represents progress, but it quietly sabotages your financial stability every single month without hesitation. While you admire its polished exterior, it slowly consumes future opportunities you have not even imagined yet. That monthly payment you treat as normal is quietly weakening your long-term financial strength without providing real value. Most Americans assume mortgages or tuition are their biggest burdens, but cars silently outrank them in destructive power. Your vehicle depreciates faster than your motivation on any stressful Monday morning when responsibilities pile unexpectedly. My name is Max, and I investigate why hardworking people struggle financially despite earning consistent, reliable incomes. If you constantly feel trapped in a financial hamster wheel, this explanation will radically reshape your entire money mindset. Because today we reveal the silent wealth killer hiding inside millions of American garages without being questioned enough. Here is a number that should immediately shock you. Americans collectively owe over $1.6 trillion. That debt number is larger than the entire economic output of many fully developed wealthy countries around the world. 108 million auto loans exist today, meaning nearly one-third of Americans make monthly payments relentlessly. But the situation becomes much worse once you understand how these loans combine with rising vehicle prices dramatically. The average new car payment now reaches $745 every month, exceeding some Americans' monthly rent. Even used vehicles cost over $521 monthly, creating enormous pressure on household budgets nationwide. Loan terms stretch frighteningly long, averaging nearly 69 months, locking families into extended debt commitments. That means 6 years of paying for something guaranteed to lose value every month from the moment you purchase. Imagine willingly signing a contract for something mathematically designed to become financially weaker endlessly over time. It is like joining a fitness program that promises you will get weaker every visit instead of stronger consistently. Generation Z now spends 20% of after-tax income on transportation costs alone, nearly equal to recommended housing budgets. When car expenses rival the cost of keeping a roof overhead, something has gone seriously wrong in financial norms. Since 2019, average monthly car payments nearly doubled, creating an unprecedented surge in financial pressure nationwide. Auto loan debt rose 64% over the past decade, showing how deeply Americans slipped into transportation dependency. You might say cars are expensive because people need them, yet that assumption hides a deeper cultural misunderstanding. We have been conditioned to believe transportation automatically requires expensive depreciating liabilities filled with unnecessary luxury features. The real issue isn't the existence of cars, it is the normalization of financially destructive vehicle purchases. Society silently renamed financial self-sabotage into adulthood responsibility, convincing millions this burden is normal behavior. So let's break down why cars quietly devastate wealth and why you rarely hear honest explanations about it. First, your monthly payment represents only a small visible portion of your actual annual transportation costs. According to comprehensive IRA studies, the total yearly cost of owning a new vehicle exceeds $12,000. That equals spending over $1,000 every single month once all hidden expenses are properly included thoughtfully. Gas alone costs the average American driver around $2,235 every year consistently. Insurance premiums typically fall between $2,100 and $2,700 annually depending on circumstances. Maintenance and repairs average $126 monthly for new vehicles, even without considering unexpected breakdowns. And let's be realistic. Something always goes wrong eventually because complex machines fail regardless of planned maintenance schedules. That means surprise expenses like brake repairs, battery replacements, tire issues, or malfunctioning air conditioning systems. Every time you think finance is settled, your car demands hundreds or thousands again, tearing holes in your budget. Here is the terrifying part. None of these expenses build equity or generate future returns of any kind. Every dollar poured into your vehicle disappears permanently, contributing nothing to long-term financial security or wealth creation. Your money essentially falls into an automotive black hole that grows larger with every additional mile driven annually. And that black hole expands even faster when depreciation enters the picture, revealing cars' true destructive nature. A new car instantly loses up to 20% of its value the moment it leaves the dealership. Before you even reach your driveway proudly, thousands of hard-earned dollars already evaporated into thin air. Within 1 year, most vehicles lose about 20% more, compounding the initial losses dramatically and quickly. After 5 years, typical cars lose nearly 60% of original value, turning expensive purchases into financial burdens. That means a $50,000 vehicle becomes worth maybe $20,000 5 years later, if you are lucky. In the first 5 years alone, you lose around $5,000 in value annually without receiving meaningful benefits. Luxury vehicles perform even worse, punishing buyers with enormous depreciation that destroys long-term financial potential quickly. A Maserati Quattroporte can lose over $90,000 within 5 years, an unbelievable wealth destruction example. The Cadillac Escalade ESV often loses over $63,800 in the same 5-year time frame. Even hybrid models like the BMW 5 Series lose nearly $38,000 despite supposed financial efficiency advantages. These numbers represent real money disappearing from real people who believe buying expensive cars reflected responsible adulthood. Yet the truth becomes even more devastating once opportunity cost enters the discussion and rewrites everything unexpectedly. Every dollar spent on car payments cannot be invested in assets that grow and generate long-term returns. While your car steadily depreciates, the money you could have invested could be compounding consistently for decades. Consider choosing a Toyota Corolla costing $27,000 over 5 years versus a Range Rover costing $118,000. Most people focus on the $90,000 difference, but they overlook the massive long-term consequences entirely. Investing that $90,000 difference at 6% annually for 30 years results in approximately $521,000. That $500,000 represents the true hidden cost of choosing the more luxurious, depreciating vehicle unnecessarily today. And that calculation only reflects a single car purchase, not a lifetime filled with repeated upgrade cycles. Most Americans purchase multiple cars, typically replacing vehicles every 5 years to chase new features emotionally. Following typical American buying patterns, lifetime opportunity cost surpasses an astonishing $1.9 million. Imagine someone offering transportation that constantly loses value in exchange for nearly $2 million lifetime. You would call the proposal insane, yet millions accept this exact arrangement without questioning financial consequences properly. Even conservative scenarios keeping cars 10 years still lose over $1.5 million in missed opportunities. Keeping each vehicle 15 years still sacrifices over $1.3 million of potential long-term investment growth. No matter the timeline, cars remain extraordinary financial burdens disguised as normal, necessary life purchases everywhere. Now let's explore the psychological traps that push people into destructive vehicle decisions despite overwhelming mathematical evidence. Cars evolved into powerful status symbols within American culture, shaping identity far beyond practical transportation reasons. Society judges people based on cars they drive instead of financial wisdom guiding their long-term stability. Car companies understand this deeply and intentionally design advertisements targeting aspirations rather than practical financial reasoning. Commercials rarely highlight lifetime costs. Instead, they show adventure, prestige, luxury, confidence, and aspirational lifestyles extensively. They convince buyers they deserve upgrades because hard work supposedly entitles them to expensive, depreciating liabilities. The message becomes clear. Reward yourself with something shiny, even if it silently destroys your financial future. People spend months researching phones to save $200 but rush into $60,000 car contracts. They negotiate home purchases intensely, yet treat vehicle purchases casually as though buying simple, everyday consumer goods. The financing industry reinforces this behavior through psychological manipulation, disguised as convenient, flexible purchasing options. 0% financing, enticing lease deals, extended warranties, and gap insurance packages appear beneficial but misleading. Leasing might seem appealing because payments appear lower, but you essentially rent a depreciating asset indefinitely. When leases end, drivers possess no equity, returning vehicles and restarting payment cycles without gaining ownership. Dealerships excel at keeping buyers trapped by advertising upgrade incentives and loyalty discounts, appearing harmless initially. They convince owners their 3-year-old vehicles are outdated, pushing newer features for small monthly payment increases. Yet every upgrade resets loan timelines, placing buyers deeper into long-term financial commitments, reducing personal freedom. The average American owns around 13 vehicles during a lifetime, far exceeding realistic necessity for transportation stability. Modern vehicles regularly surpass 200,000 miles, meaning frequent replacements largely stem from consumer conditioning. Meanwhile, financially disciplined individuals drive older paid-off vehicles, while investing thousands others spend excessively. Those drivers quietly build wealth because their cars function as tools, not symbols representing social validation. Here is the infuriating truth. Dealerships profit more from financing arrangements than vehicle sales themselves. They focus discussions on monthly payments instead of total cost because lower numbers feel psychologically comfortable. They stretch loan terms longer to reduce monthly payments while increasing total interest paid dramatically overall. They frequently roll negative equity into new loans, placing buyers underwater before leaving dealership parking lots. Banks love these arrangements because interest payments accumulate while buyers remain locked into extended debt obligations. Insurance companies benefit because finance vehicles require full coverage policies, costing significantly more than minimal coverage. Car manufacturers thrive as buyers continually upgrade, believing new models justify ever-increasing financial sacrifices. Everyone profits except the buyer, who unknowingly becomes the only participant losing wealth continuously and painfully. And when unexpected life events occur, vehicle debt becomes an anchor restricting flexibility and opportunity painfully. Losing a job while owing $47,000 on a depreciated vehicle worth $28,000 feels devastating. You cannot stop payments without facing repossession, damaged credit, and remaining responsible for remaining balances. Vehicle payments follow people everywhere, restricting career changes, relocations, family decisions, and long-term aspirations significantly. This creates financial handcuffs that limit freedom, reduce opportunities, and quietly shape major life decisions negatively. Okay, many people remain unaware their vehicle choices quietly shape decades of financial outcomes without their conscious understanding. The system normalizes debt so effectively that people accept payments as unavoidable responsibilities of standard American adulthood. When someone finally pays off their car, friends immediately ask which newer model they plan to purchase next. Driving a paid-off vehicle for many years seems unusual because society equates frequent upgrades with responsible lifestyle progress. This mindset encourages people to treat depreciation like a harmless inconvenience rather than a serious financial threat. People forget older cars can provide reliable transportation without attaching long-term financial burdens that restrict opportunities. Reliability does not belong exclusively to vehicles carrying huge price tags inflated by luxury branding and emotional marketing. A 5-year-old Toyota Camry with moderate mileage often delivers exceptional dependability at a fraction of replacement cost. More importantly, purchasing affordable used vehicles frees income that can instead support meaningful long-term financial priorities responsibly. Lower fixed expenses grant flexibility, reducing stress and allowing individuals to pursue better career decisions without fear. People underestimate how financial breathing room influences peace of mind and overall life satisfaction during challenging times. A person without car payments experiences greater resilience when unexpected job loss or emergencies occur inevitably and suddenly. They make decisions from a place of strength rather than desperation, protecting long-term financial health more effectively. Meanwhile, someone with large payments often feels trapped, accepting any job solely to keep bills paid temporarily. Their vehicle becomes a financial cage, restricting options during moments requiring freedom and adaptability for survival. This difference shapes lives dramatically, yet most people overlook it because payments feel like unavoidable responsibilities. Consider how much easier changing careers becomes without a $700 monthly payment, weighing constantly overhead. Lower expenses empower individuals to take calculated risks that can eventually create better long-term financial trajectories. Investing becomes easier because consistent contributions feel achievable when fewer fixed debts demand immediate attention monthly. Retirement savings grow faster when transportation costs remain reasonable instead of consuming entire paychecks unnecessarily. Many Americans claim they cannot afford investing, yet they unknowingly spend over $1,000 monthly on vehicles. Redirecting this money could transform their financial future, creating opportunities otherwise assumed impossible or unreachable. But emotional attachment to vehicles remains powerful, driven by years of marketing promising success and social respect. People fear judgment when driving older cars, worrying others will misinterpret their lifestyle or financial situation negatively. Yet ironically, those driving older paid-off cars often hold stronger finances than people driving expensive luxury vehicles. Wealthy individuals quietly understand vehicles are tools, not investments, and should never control major financial decisions. Warren Buffett drove modest cars for years, despite having billions because he prioritized financial discipline consistently. Mark Cuban continued driving older vehicles long after achieving financial independence to avoid unnecessary lifestyle inflation. Their behavior demonstrates that financial wisdom matters far more than flashy status symbols designed to impress superficially. True wealth grows quietly and steadily, unlike luxury purchases that vanish in value faster than expectations allow. When you reject unnecessary vehicle debt, you reclaim power society conditioned you to surrender unconsciously for decades. You gain time, freedom, choices, and opportunities previously restricted by expensive obligations draining monthly income. This shift transforms not only your finances, but also your confidence in navigating life's unpredictable challenges responsibly. Without heavy payments, you breathe easier, sleep better, and make decisions aligned with long-term goals confidently. Financial stress declines significantly, allowing your mind to focus on progress instead of recurring monthly obligations. Many underestimate how deeply car payments influence mental health, increasing anxiety about maintaining adequate income monthly. Even minor setbacks create panic when large fixed expenses dominate budgets without leaving room for adaptability. Choosing affordable transportation removes this pressure, building genuine stability instead of fragile appearances and illusions. Long-term freedom grows from small, smart decisions repeated consistently, not from flashy upgrades driven by emotional impulses. Changing your vehicle strategy becomes one of the simplest and most powerful ways to reshape your financial life. Begin by rejecting the belief that a new car automatically provides safety, reliability, or impressive social image. Modern vehicles remain reliable far longer than advertised, making used options financially stronger without sacrificing dependability. You do not need the newest technology or advanced features to reach work safely or live comfortably daily. Most upgrades simply satisfy emotional desires temporarily, rather than improving real long-term quality of life sustainably. Companies exploit these emotions intentionally, convincing people to spend money they cannot spare on temporary excitement. Breaking this psychological cycle requires awareness, discipline, and willingness to challenge cultural expectations confidently. Rejecting unnecessary vehicle debt may feel unusual initially because it opposes normalized financial behavior nationwide. But progress rarely feels comfortable when stepping away from habits deeply ingrained through decades of clever marketing. Choosing a modest used car may not impress others, yet it silently strengthens your financial foundation tremendously. Over time, the money saved grows into investments that build actual wealth rather than temporary lifestyle appearances. This approach frees you from dangerous financial cycles that trap millions of hardworking individuals across the country. Imagine years without payments, where your income flows toward goals instead of feeding depreciating liabilities constantly. Picture saving hundreds monthly and watching investments compound instead of losing money to unavoidable depreciation. That vision becomes reality when you stop chasing new vehicles designed to drain resources through irresistible marketing. Stability grows when financial decisions reflect long-term strategy rather than short-term emotional satisfaction. Every affordable car you choose becomes another step toward future independence you never realized possible earlier. This discipline protects your future self from unnecessary burdens caused by today's unexamined, impulsive decisions. You realize transportation should support your lifestyle, not dominate your budget or restrict your personal choices. When vehicle payments disappear, financial freedom expands as opportunities reappear after years of being suppressed. You gain flexibility to pursue passions, change careers, move cities, or invest aggressively without financial fear. That freedom becomes one of the most valuable outcomes of avoiding unnecessary vehicle-related debt obligations entirely. Car payments limit mobility while paid-off vehicles increase strength, stability, and long-term decision-making power significantly. People rarely connect these dots because society normalizes debt so thoroughly it appears harmless and acceptable. But when you step outside this cultural pattern, you suddenly recognize how destructive it has been silently. You begin noticing friends trapped by payments, unable to adjust careers or relocate due to rigid budgets. Their lifestyle relies on constant income, leaving them vulnerable when unexpected difficulties arise at inconvenient moments. Yet those driving paid-off cars stand stronger, adapting easily when life changes unexpectedly without financial panic. Responsible choices compound over time, empowering individuals to build security even without earning extreme income levels. Wealth grows through patience, discipline, and avoiding unnecessary liabilities disguised as modern lifestyle necessities. The car industry hopes you ignore these truths because their profits depend on keeping buyers indebted repeatedly. Dealerships thrive when customers remain unaware of how dangerous frequent financing becomes over extended periods. Manufacturers win when consumers demand luxury features unnecessary for reliable transportation or daily life functionality. Financial institutions earn interest consistently, while buyers struggle under long-term obligations inflating total costs massively. Insurance companies collect higher premiums because finance vehicles require far more expensive, comprehensive coverage annually. Every participant wins except the consumer, who unknowingly sacrifices financial freedom to maintain an illusion. Recognizing this pattern empowers you to break free and finally reclaim control of your long-term financial path. You become the type of person who values freedom more than temporary excitement created by shiny, expensive purchases. That shift transforms not only your finances, but your confidence, priorities, and long-term lifestyle direction meaningfully. With fewer payments, you build savings faster, invest with confidence, and protect your future more effectively overall. Your stress levels drop significantly because fewer financial obligations create room for emergencies and unexpected opportunities. Over time, your money works harder for you instead of disappearing into depreciation, interest payments, and insurance premiums. You realize true security comes from stability, not from driving vehicles engineered to impress strangers temporarily. You stop comparing yourself to others, recognizing many hide financial stress behind expensive vehicles and lifestyle choices. You build wealth quietly, steadily, and intentionally, choosing consistency rather than unnecessary lifestyle inflation. Your future self gains tremendous advantages because your present self rejected society's destructive financial expectations. The moment you see vehicles as tools rather than status symbols, your entire financial life shifts positively. You understand true confidence comes from freedom, not from payments required to maintain a temporary polished appearance. You recognize long-term security matters more than emotional satisfaction received from purchasing expensive depreciating assets. You become more thoughtful, intentional, and strategic with every dollar spent on transportation decisions thereafter. Your mindset shifts away from impulsive upgrades toward practical choices that support future stability consistently. You realize modest choices provide powerful long-term results that compound into life-changing wealth over time. Every affordable car becomes a stepping stone toward freedom, security, and massive long-term financial opportunity. You begin seeing wealth as quiet, controlled, and intentional instead of loud, flashy, and rapidly depreciating. You understand wealth grows invisibly while expenses grow loudly, constantly demanding attention without meaningful return. Your identity becomes rooted in discipline, awareness, and independence rather than material symbols created by marketing. You step confidently into a future shaped by smart choices instead of pressures imposed by cultural expectations. Your financial path strengthens each month you refuse to surrender money to unnecessary transportation liabilities. Eventually, you realize driving a paid-off, reliable vehicle represents strength, confidence, and genuine financial wisdom. You finally see transportation should elevate your life, not quietly sabotage your future behind monthly payments. Your future millionaire self will celebrate these decisions and thank you for choosing freedom over unnecessary financial burdens.